All right, we shall start. I hope everybody's doing well. Hello, musicians and music industry friends. Thank you for joining us. We hope you're all safe and in good health at the moment. And we're really excited to be presenting our first educational workshop of the year. It's AMF Presents New Year, New Money, Monetizing Your Website with our guest speaker, Cameron Gibson, CEO and co-founder of JamFeed. We're really excited about the workshop today. And for all those of you who are new to AMF, we're a local 501c3 nonprofit arts organization whose core mission is to strengthen, connect, and advance the local music industry and community. We do this through educational programming like the workshop today, professional development, focused mentoring, through one-on-one consultation and networking opportunities. This year, AMF celebrates its 20th anniversary. It's a real milestone for us, and we remain one of the city's only service organizations dedicated to delivering year-round music business training at no cost to the local music community. So all our programs are free of charge, and we do this through donations and fundraising. So if you would like to donate, if you're enjoying the workshop today, Sheila, wonderful. She's not an intern, she was a former intern. She is working with us on social media today, and she's also an amazing artist. She'll drop the link in for the donations today if you would like to donate, and throughout the chat as well. She'll also drop in other informational links as the discussion goes. For more information on our programs, to get involved, to volunteer, check us out at austinmusicfoundation.org. So we're really looking forward to today's workshop and welcoming our guest, Cameron Gibson. The workshop will begin with a presentation from Cam, where he'll be discussing best practices on how you can build an online business through your website by automating and aggregating everything in one place. It's really useful information. He'll also be discussing how to use data to your advantage and how to develop a direct relationship with your fans that keeps you in the driver's seat. After that, we'll do our best to cover all questions you submitted in advance, and we'll be taking questions from the audience throughout the panel. So just leave your comments in the questions via Zoom, via Facebook Live feed, and then we will do our best at the end to answer everybody's questions. Some of those questions will be answered throughout the presentation as well as Cam's talking. So right now, it's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today's workshop. Cameron is the co-founder and CEO of JamFeed, a music content aggregation platform that brings everything into one place to help save artists time and money every month. That's so important. He also has worked as well with hip hop acts Jimmy the Human and the Bishops as their manager. Born and raised in Austin, Texas, Cam is a unicorn and also very passionate about helping creative artists learn about how to monetize their art. His experience over the last 10 years as a tech entrepreneur, web designer, music producer, and artist manager gives him a unique perspective on the music industry and has allowed him to build products specifically to help artists make money online and connect with fans directly. Cam has recently been selected for a 2022 South by panel in the Future of Music sector, representing JamFeed. Thank you for lending your insight today, Cam. We're so happy you're joining AMF today, and I will let you take it away.
Thank you, Kate. I really appreciate that. I'm probably going to have you do all my intros from now on. That was great. Great. I appreciate that. And special thanks to AMF as a whole. Again, we're lucky to live in a city that has this kind of organization that is there to support all musicians for free. I've taken artists in there and had consultations with them. Their team is incredible. What they do is incredible, and it does not exist in a lot of other cities. So I highly recommend taking advantage of them and in a good way. Let them pick their brain, let them help you help build your career. And get to know the people over at that team. So thank you again, Kate, to you and everyone on your team for allowing me to come in today. I'm not going to give too much of a background since Kate did a lovely job, but just kind of want to tell you guys how I got into the music industry. My brother and I started this company a couple years ago here in Austin. I naturally found my way into artist management just through some musicians that I love their music. When I met them, I realized they just needed help on the business side of things. As an entrepreneur myself, obviously in the tech space, I wanted to help them build their own business. And it's been my passion to help musicians. Obviously, we're all just impacted by music in so many forms and fashions. And to me, I want to help independent musicians realize that they are entrepreneurs and that you are building your own business. And learning how to use technology to your advantage can really help and can bring in revenue every month, can make you look professional online. It can really set you up for success. So we're going to talk about a couple different things today. I've got the list of questions again, just to reiterate. You can throw questions in the chat. You can also throw them in the Facebook, and Sheila is going to be helping organize those questions. So I'll revisit everything at the end. If I didn't address it during, we're going to leave plenty of time for Q&A. So I want this to be engaging and conversational as we go through all of this. And I hope you learned something. My whole thing is I'm continuous learning. The music industry is changing every day, every week, every year. New products, new technologies come out. But the most important thing is now we have the technology in our hands to actually build your own business. The music industry for a long time was built to where the labels controlled everything, including your intellectual property and your music. And the shift has already started. And I think it's only going to continue to where more artists are independent and having control over their business and their music going forward. So with that being said, we will hop into it. So most important thing to start is why? Why do musicians need a website? I have an Instagram, I have a Spotify, I've got a TikTok. There's billions of people on these platforms, and you are correct. 100% you should be on these platforms, many of which I look at as free advertising, right? You can basically put a commercial up every day and get it in front of people. The only issue with these platforms is you do not own them. You do not have control. Mark Zuckerberg has full control. And at the end of the day, when you post something on social media, you're making him money, not yourself. You're not getting paid for that post unless a brand decides to come in and help you. And you're limited in what your ability is to reach those fans. I'm sure you've seen algorithms. If you've got 10,000 followers, not a single post is going to 10,000 followers. And so your website, think of it as your online real estate. That's something you own, you control the experience, and it allows you to build your own business. And so what we'll talk about today is how to utilize these other third-party platforms to where you can drive people to your site, collect fan data, build a relationship directly with them, and then therefore have your own relationship and your own business without being dependent on other platforms. So just like we talked about, ownership and control. In my opinion, your website is the second most important thing you can own after your own music. It is your hub online. It is your domain. It is where you can drive people to, and it directly involves how people find you on search through Google and SEO, which we'll dive deeper on in here a little bit. And you just need to understand that you do not own the content or your audience on social media. And that does not mean you shouldn't be on there. I highly recommend being on these platforms. It's great for marketing tools, but just understand for what it is. These are social media platforms that are geared towards making the company money, not towards making you money. And streaming services are in a similar boat. I'm sure many of you have seen, one, the royalty payouts are not what many artists want them to be on Spotify and other platforms. But even more importantly, one of the artists I manage named Jimmy the Human has 80,000 monthly listeners retained over the course of the last 12 months, which is phenomenal. I'm really proud of him. Only problem is we don't know a single one of them. I don't have a name. I don't have an email. I don't have a way to send them information about a tour, new merchandise, buying a subscription and joining his tiers. None of that. So with that being said, I still think there's value in Spotify. They at least got some people to start paying for music, but they do not allow artists to have full control of that business. Those are Spotify's customers. They have their email and their name, not you. And so again, highly recommend being on these platforms. This is how most fans discover you, but the goal is to take them from discovery to your business where you can build a relationship with them. The other side of why you need a website is it brings everything in one place. I'm sure many of you are on Instagram, and Instagram provides one link in bio. And there's been entire companies created like Linktree around this entire business model because Instagram is selfish and they will not let you put your own website and multiple other links in there. Why? Because they want you on Instagram. And so the value of your website is you control the experience, you control the content, how it looks, what all's on there, from music to videos to your tour, and then adding ways to make money. So live streams, subscriptions, merchandise, etc. I also think it's very important that you have your story on there. People don't just buy into music, they buy into who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. And the better you can communicate that, whether it's through bio text or a video, fans want to understand who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. And because of the world of social media, we now as fans want to be as close to the artist as possible. And you can actually find ways to monetize these fans in ways by providing that kind of access. And then the other side is from a professional standpoint. If someone is looking to do an article and feature you and do an interview, they're likely going to go to your website and try to find a way to contact you, email, phone number, your social media, streaming links. All of these in one place gives you the ability to really capture a fan when they come on there. And the reality is you don't know how that fan's going to engage with you. Someone might fall in love with a single song. When I met Jimmy the Human, I came across a song on Spotify, but I didn't really get into his music until I went and watched his YouTube videos. And his videos blew me away. I could tell he did it all with a very low budget, but was very creative. And I became a super fan immediately and reached out to him and built a relationship that way. And he didn't have a website at that time. So that was one of the first places we started. But you never know what is going to make someone become a fan, become a super fan, and become an advocate that shares your music with other people. So your website allows you to control that. And it really helps you with being searched on Google. And we'll talk deeper about SEO here in a little bit, but you want ideally your website to be the first thing people come up on Google. That allows you to retarget them with ads, with different ways of selling merchandise, tickets, etc. I found this study recently. I've asked Kate to try to share it if she can in the chat. I can also send this out via email to everyone afterwards. And it's the largest independent creator study ever done. And this blew me away. Truthfully, it's what I've been preaching to a lot of artists for the last couple of years. And they just did a really good job of explaining the current dilemma. Many of us, I'm sure here, started our music careers in the last 5 to 10 years. Most of you probably did not experience the MySpace problem. Many artists before you built an entire business on MySpace and then watched it completely disappear. And that is kind of back to my point with social media, is it can go away. It could be completely gone. If Instagram did disappear tomorrow, how many of you would have any way of reaching those fans? And so what we want to try to help this shift of is the new creator model, which is you own your audience. That's your audience through your website and your email list, et cetera. You're not renting it from Mark Zuckerberg and these different social platforms, focusing on a niche community. Everyone wants to be big, and I hope all of you do become big stars, but we will talk about how if you go niche and build a loyal fan base, you do not need more than 1,000 fans to truly build a business where you could live off and be a musician full time. Community, I think, is so important. Most people are looking for followers. I'm sure, as you've seen, these algorithms do not push this content to all of your followers. You're building an audience on someone else's platform that truly is making that platform money and not you. Focusing on building a community around your business can really help. And the network effect, let's say you had a piece of content go viral on a social platform. How much money do you make on that viral piece of content? Probably nothing. And that platform is making a lot of money. So musicians are the most followed people on these platforms. They are the ones with driving the content that people are engaging on and staying on these platforms. But learn how to use that network effect for your own business rather than somebody else. And now we've understood why you need a website, why it's important for you to take control and have your own business as a musician. And now we're going to talk about monetizing your website, right? Everybody would like to be making more money. I'm sure most of you had a very big wake-up call when the pandemic hit that live music can go away. Obviously, none of us ever wish it would go away. I didn't know what to do for a long time without live music. But the reality is most artists before the pandemic were making 70, sometimes 80% of their revenue from live music, and that was taken away. So for the first time, I think it actually forced people to think about how to make money online. And what I like to teach people, as I've always approached marketing the musicians I work with like a tech company. Obviously, I come from a tech background, but the reality is you're selling a digital product. You're selling a digital piece of music, a video on YouTube, an e-commerce platform for merchandise where someone can buy it online and get it shipped to them. If you think like a tech company and you build your business in with that mindset, you might not have the resources of Amazon, but the reality is Amazon is one of the biggest businesses out there because they have found a way to drive you to their platform every single time. The reality is not a single person on this call, including myself, has ever bought a product from Amazon's Instagram page. It's never happened. You might get an ad on Instagram, but that ad sends you right back to their website where you put in your email. They usually have your card, your name, your address, and your purchasing habits. So they're able to know who you are, what kind of customer you are, and how to get you to continue purchasing. And my goal here is to help you shift your mindset to try to build your own Amazon for yourself and your own business. So how do we do that? The first part is creating content. Music is the deciding factor that drives every other way for you to make money, right? Music is what brings the fans in. It allows you to create videos around it. It allows you to create artwork and merchandise. You could create subscriptions and everything else. But this funnel is what I really like to point out to people, because this is how tech companies operate. Discovery. And I would say discovery takes place on streaming services, on social media. I even discovered Jimmy the Human, the artist I manage, on Spotify. And that was how I became interested in his music. And then I got deeper and deeper and deeper. And now he's found ways, obviously, to monetize not only myself as a super fan of his, but other super fans as well, taking them from that discovery phase and bringing them into a way that you can monetize. And ideally, that's through your website. I know a lot of platforms offer subscriptions and things like that. I know people use Twitch and do subscriptions for live streams on Twitch, but Twitch takes 30%, as does Amazon in many capacities. iTunes, if you sell music through there, often takes a 20 to 30% cut as well. So if you're able to do that on your own website, you will be able to have higher margins and be able to make more money. And then the last part is retention. Retention is the lifeblood of any business that involves customers. And what you want is to create a way that can, create monthly recurring revenue. I think Patreon, very grateful for what they created, because they showed that the model that fans actually would love to support you directly. And you can control the subscription amount. I do recommend Patreon over other subscription services, but my company is actually looking at building that into your own website, because I believe that Patreon shouldn't even get 10% if you're doing all the work. And the reality is, if you built everything in Patreon and Patreon failed, maybe they overfunded themselves as a business and could not be profitable, all of that content, all of those customers are gone. So again, as much as you can do on your own platform, and I realize that there are some third-party platforms that do need to be involved, but the more that you can build this into your own platform, the better. So how do tech companies build these massive businesses that scale? How does Netflix, how does Amazon build something that works with tens of millions of people paying them every single month? And the reality is that it's done with two things: aggregation and automation. And these tools have existed for many years. Unfortunately, most of the tools artists are using these days were not built for you. Instagram was not built for musicians. It was actually built as a photo app for consumers to post photos. And it obviously has evolved, but it is automatically running and deciding whether or not your content is worthy of sharing in front of other people based on algorithms. So what these companies are doing is taking lots of data, putting it into one place, and then automatically updating it based on people's reactions, decisions, what they click on, et cetera. And there are tools now where you can do the same thing. And aggregation is great because we have so many platforms we've got to manage, right? We've got social media, we've got streaming services, we've got our email list, we've got our website, and a lot of this can get overwhelming. So we'll show you some ways that you can aggregate these things into one place and really save you time. Your time is best spent creating music and content. That's something you can do that is unique to you that nobody else can do. There are people that can build websites. There are people that can run email lists for you as you grow. There are management and team members that you can bring on, but no one can make your music and no one can perform it. So that is where your time is best spent. And then automating as much as possible is really what allows you to have that focus. Is if you're not having to manually do every single step of every aspect of your release, putting it onto 20 different platforms, putting it on your website. Many people we come across their websites, it says copyright 2018 on the bottom. And it's been years since they've updated it. They don't have their new song, their new video. And when we ask why, it's not like they don't want it on there. It often just comes down to time. They don't have the time, the bandwidth to do it. And sometimes the technological skill set. And so we built some ways to try to remove these barriers, build these kinds of aggregation automation tools specifically for musicians to help you guys be successful. So this is the new model, in my opinion. And this is really what I call the direct to fan model. Direct to fan means you communicate to your customer and you have that relationship. And it starts up here on this left side. So it starts by driving people to your website. And this can happen in a number of ways. Somebody can Google search you. If I saw you at a show and I search your name on Google, ideally you want to be the top, if not close to the top, so I can immediately find your site. Someone could recommend you. Obviously, we are discovering lots of musicians nowadays on social media platforms and streaming services. My recommendation is, how do you get them from those platforms to your website? And to show you that a lot of these platforms do not care, you've got to take some extra steps. How crazy is it that Spotify does not have a URL for you to plug in your website on your profile page? This makes me so frustrated as a manager, but it is a reality. They will link you to social media, but they realize that if you sell your music directly to fans and your fans consume it and buy it from you, you're kind of cutting out Spotify. Now, people will still continue to listen there because all music is there. So you should be on there, but as simple as adding your website into your bio on Spotify can be a way to direct people and say, if you'd like to buy merchandise, you'd like to stay involved with me, you'd like to subscribe to me, please go to my website. This is where I communicate with fans. The reality with fans is they will go where you ask them to go. They're fans. They are rabid. If you ask me to go buy tickets on Ticketmaster, I will do it, even though I don't want to give them all their fees. But if you ask me to go buy it through your website, I will go do it there. I was catching up with a friend who's a manager here in Austin earlier this week, who manages DZ Brown. DZ had a residency over at C-Boys towards the end of last year. And I saw the post on social media. It was on his story. I clicked on the story. It said, buy tickets, shot me to DZ's website. I bought the ticket. DZ Brown now got my name, my email, my phone number, and all my information, and saw how many tickets I bought. And I immediately texted Eric and I said, this is awesome, because now I'm DZ's fan. Not the ticketing companies, not Instagrams, but he utilized Instagram to drive me to where he wanted to go. So you do have more control than you think of where fans go. You just have to send them there. And the more times people click on your website, the more times press outlets write about your website and link over, those dramatically increase your SEO and being found on sites like Google. So now that we've captured this fan, how do we communicate? To me, there's really three ways of communicating. Well, first off, let's talk about capturing the fan. A basic email capture that can link to, say, a MailChimp is very common. I highly recommend having one of these on your website. There's other things you can do that really are just attention grabbers, like a pop-up that comes up. If you go to someone like May Lott's website, you can see that when you go straight to her website, you get a pop-up notification to subscribe to her newsletter. And exit offers, you see less of these, but I think they're powerful. You'll see them more on I would say, tech websites. Let's say I was on your website and looking at merchandise and I tried to leave. It would throw an exit offer on there that says, we'll give you 10% off if you purchase today. And it's those little things of trying to get people to take action that can be done through your site. Now, once you've got that fan, they're in your network, they're in your database, you've got their email, their name, their phone number. There's lots of different tools to store this information. If you're using an email list platform like a MailChimp, which is, I think free for up to 2,000 artists, you can store all that information in there as well, export it out, put it into, an Excel doc if you'd like. But now you have a fan, and now your job is to communicate with this fan. And to me, the most powerful ways to do this are going directly to them. And in my eyes, there's 3 ways of doing that. There's a text message, SMS. I just signed up for Maylot's text messaging through community that she released recently. How did I find out about it? On Instagram, but I took the action, texted, now she's got my phone number. Now the likelihood of letting me know about a show, guaranteed to send me a text message versus not guaranteed that I see the post on social media, even if I do follow her. So push notifications, again, I'm sure most of you have mobile apps that do something like this. We actually started as a consumer platform that sends fans push notifications in real time when you drop new songs, videos, etc. And then email newsletter, we talked about MailChimp. There are a variety of email newsletter platforms that you can use, but these allow you to have control. As sexy as social media can seem sometime, if you look at the actual numbers of selling products like tickets and merchandise, email still has a huge leg up in percentages of conversions. And mostly it's due to the fact that those people receive it guaranteed versus if you have 1,000 people on an email list, it sends to 1,000 people. If you have 1,000 people on social media, you'd be lucky if you get 10 to 20% of those people to see it in their feed without you boosting, which is paying to reach your own audience. And then now, how do we monetize that fan? My recommendation is think about it and monetize. I like the word from the artist side. It's how you make money, right? We all want to make money. From a fan side, think about it as fans supporting you. And fans do want to support you. I texted a friend of mine who's an artist, small artist that I discovered at a show recently. And I had to text her say, how do I support you? You don't have a website, nothing on your Instagram links to where I could send you a Venmo request. There's no way for me to buy merchandise, and I'm trying to do it. And that's how I like to support the artists I am enjoying. And I know that they're not getting much money from streaming, so I try to subscribe, buy merchandise, buy tickets. I know that's what puts money in your pocket, but fans want to support you in this way. But if you do not have it set up for them to do so, you're essentially missing out on revenue. And it's why I think it's very important. I'm sure you might have seen the quote that we had running with some of the posts on social media, but the more ways you have of making money, the better chances you have of making money. Amazon used to sell books. That's it. Now you can buy anything in the world on Amazon, pretty much anything, and it'll be at your door in 24 hours most of the time. And that just shows you, like, they know that the more things you can buy on that one website, the more likely you are to come back to that website, and the more likely they are to make money off of you and monetize it. When I'm talking about it from the manager or artist side, I like to use the term support, because fans do want to support you. There's a lot of fans that do not realize that following you on Spotify and listening is really not generating you significant income, no matter how many times they listen. I could listen to your song every day, 24 hours a day for a month, and you might make a couple dollars. But you could push me a link one time to a merch store and sell me a $25 t-shirt that you bought and paid $7 for. That transaction took a few seconds and made you $15. So these are ways that you can really monetize the fan. Fan subscriptions, I'm a big fan of. Like I said, there's multiple platforms that do this now. Patreon is probably the biggest name. We're working on building this directly into artist websites. But to me, this creates recurring revenue. There's a reason Netflix and these other companies are so successful. You sign up one time, you pay $10 a month, and you continue paying every month. They know how much is coming in. It allows them to build their business in a very strong way because they know exactly how many people and how much they're paying. We run our business the same way. We use social media to engage with fans and artists. I'm sure many of you have communicated with us on Instagram, but once that happens, what do? We move to a video chat where we help you set up your website. You go to jamfeed.com and you put in your email, password, phone number, and your card information, and you're JamFeed's customer. And that is the same way that I think you can be running your business, and you can decide what you offer these fans. It's really up to you at the end of the day. I've seen, if you haven't looked, if you don't know who Amanda Palmer is, go search Amanda Palmer Patreon. She has some people paying $500 a month, really just for access. They want a one-on-one video chat. They want her to sing a song directly to them. Not every fan can afford this, but some can. And super fans, music is a powerful tool. Your song could do something to somebody that you have no idea how impactful that song was to them at some point in their life. Find a way to let them support you by building these different revenue streams. So how to collect data. We've already talked a little bit about this. We're trying to take someone from social media, take them as a consumer, put them onto our website. That makes them a visitor. There's ways to make them a lead, which I would say is, grabbing an email address. That would be somebody who's interested in my music. And how do I take them from an email address to a customer? I send them an email blast or an SMS text blast, and I send them a discount on merch or a try this first month free on my subscription to get some exclusive music before it comes out. And then now you've got customers, you're trying to move them down the ladder to advocates. And these are the best people in your business. These are super fans. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Pareto principle. It's pretty standard across all businesses. It means 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your customers. So find out who those 20% are and take care of those people. There's a big difference of somebody who pays you $20 a month in tickets, merch, music, etc. And I liked 20 posts on your Instagram. One does not give you money, the other does. And so take care of those people who do. This is a book that I highly recommend. It's not just meant for musicians. It's meant for any business. It's one of my favorite books I've ever read. And this is the question that I asked Jimmy when I started working with him. Again, 80,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. He has no idea who they are. He knows where they live. That's about it. And I asked him, I said, what if you had 1,000 people that paid you $5 a month in some form or fashion? That could be a subscription. That could be a ticket. That could be merchandise. And we set up a subscription platform for him, connected it to his website, and he made one social media post on Instagram that turned into $90 a month, which is equivalent to tens of thousands, if not a couple 100,000 streams. But not only that, he has their name, their email, their phone number, and every single month that money that comes in consistently. And I watched the light bulb go off in his head. Before that, it was, how do I grow my Spotify? And of course you want to grow your Spotify. But the minute he saw this, he goes, I need 1,000 of these. He had 5 people paying $5 a month. He said, if I have 1,000 of these, I can quit my job. And he's right. He can absolutely quit his job. And so can you. And the reality is, can you create, instead of trying to go be like, I want to go tour like Drake does and have millions of fans. Yes, there's a small percentage of people who get there. But what I've learned from most musicians is most of them just want to do it full time. As do I, as running my business as an entrepreneur. I don't want to have to go drive Uber at night and work at a restaurant to pay bills and then also try to do music. I know that is how many of us have to start, and that is part of the process. And I think it's a good part of the process. But if you have something like this, if you got 1 to 5 fans every month to pay you $5 a month for the next 5 years, this would be a reality for you. And you could walk away from that job. So it doesn't take as many fans as you think if they're really your fans and your customers and you connect with them. So I know that was a lot and it can be overwhelming. So a lot of questions I get is like, where do I start? And so I try to simplify this, and then I'm going to try to make sure we have some time for Q&A after this. But start with a website that just has your content. If you have music on Spotify and videos on YouTube, you have everything you need to start building a website. Then once you have that and you can have that in place, now start trying to find ways to monetize that website. Add ticket links to your shows, add a merchandise link so that people can purchase. Find a way to create monthly recurring revenue through subscriptions. And again, reward those top fans because 80% of that revenue is coming from those top fans. There's many platforms that you can use: Squarespace, Wix, my company JamFeed, which I'll show you a quick demo of in a second. Most of these offer low monthly or low annual plans that usually consist of paying for hosting and things like that. If you have trouble getting a website started, what we've tried to do at JamFeed is automate this. And this came from a personal experience. As a manager, I do web design and development. I built a website for the artist I was working with. And I looked up, and 4 months later, I was behind, completely behind. There was a song that was out, not on the website. Video was released, not on the website. Big interview from a local journalist, not on their website. And I looked around and I was like, if I'm behind and I do this for a living and I'm helping a band do this and I'm their manager, what's an artist doing by themselves? What's a manager doing who doesn't understand web design and development? And the reality is, when I looked at it, is most people are behind. So if you are behind, don't feel bad about it. You are actually the normal. What we're trying to do is automate a lot of this work, save you the time, get you something up and running that looks good and professional, and you'll be able to have a website. We can build it in just a couple minutes. So I'll put this screen back up in a second, but I want you to just kind of see a quick demo of this. If you go to JamFeed.com, you can go to JamFeed for Artists, and we'll send you here. You can click Get Started for free, and it's just going to take you to our sign up. I'm going to do this in a test environment so I don't mess with anything on our side. You put in your name, email, password, again, very basic, just like you're signing up for any other product. Once you do this, we're going to send you a 6-digit code. And let me go grab this code. This is basically to verify that email works, and that's who you say you are. I'm sure you've experienced this on many other platforms. So I grab that code, I paste it, and now I can come in to find my artist page. So again, we can search anybody. If you're on Spotify, you will be able to find your name here. So I'll do Jake Lloyd, who just came on and joined us recently. Jake, if you're listening, we're going to do a little demo for you. Come in, and this is just on a test environment, so we're not messing with any of his real stuff, but I can come in, claim the artist page. It'll grab his Spotify, and if it matches, if this is on the production side, which I'll jump to in just a second, it would have his links to his other platforms. And if it's not here, you can simply just copy and paste these into these different deals. So we're just grabbing, all it takes for you to build a site is copying and paste. We've removed all the other technical barriers to help you. If you could go to your Instagram page, copy that link and click complete onboarding, you are good to go. So I'm going to jump over to the production side so you can see Jake's site. Now he's in here on our homepage. He's got his profile. Let me close this little alert. He can come in here and edit a photo, a logo. We're already pulling in some analytics from these platforms. And then really it's just two things. Updating a profile. We pull this information from Spotify, but you're welcome to change the bio, text, anything you want. You can save those changes there. And then it's just adding these integrations. So you can see here, he's got the links to his platforms, just the URLs. That's all you got to do. And after you do that, our technology goes to work for you. This is aggregation. All of his news is already populated. All of his music already here. His videos already here. And if Jake were to release another song tomorrow, he comes in here, clicks refresh, and boom, new song is on here, new video. The minute it goes out to the distribution platforms, doesn't matter if you use DistroKid or TuneCore, we are able to aggregate that and put it in here for you. And in one click, we have a website. So Jake can now come in. All of his social links are on here. His tour's plugged in. All of his music is available. His videos are on here for people to view. His news stories are all on, and his bio is updated. And he can look at this, see how it looks on tablet and mobile. And when Jake is ready, we connect it to his domain. So again, we're trying to empower the artist. We're just the tech on the back end, making it really easy for you. This is your brand, your music. And that is really how we've tried to just remove all the technical barriers, all the reasons some people just get stuck building or updating a website. We just try to make it super, super easy. So with that being said, I'm going to just kind of jump into Q&A. I see a list of questions here. So if you have more, feel free to throw them in the chat. Sheila will add them to this document, and I'm going to try to run through and get all of these answered for you guys while I leave this up in case any of you cannot reach out to me at my email below or on our Instagram page. So I'm just going to stop at the top of this list and we're going to go from there. So for backend SEO optimization, what are the things we need to be focusing on? So for those of you who don't know, SEO stands for search engine optimization. And really, I would say that's what you see when you Google something. It does apply to Bing and other search companies, but really we all use Google. There are a couple ways. The number one way you can increase your SEO is to have external links linked to your website. So if your link is in your Instagram bio and people go from there and click on it, Google bumps it up. If someone writes an article about you, tell them to link to your website. That if Austin Chronicle writes an article about you, like they did Jay Solja, one of our artists last Friday, link to that website, that press release will drastically improve Jay Solja's SEO. Just to give you an example of this, this is what you're looking for. Jay Solja on Google. First thing you see is his website. That is the goal. And Jay Solja's done a great job of doing this for a couple years. He switched over to our platform just because he was behind on updating that content. So that's what you're looking for with SEO. The other side of it is on your website, if you have a bio, you want your name to be in that bio. You want basically anything that they would be searching on Google, you want to be in the description of your website and your bio. That's going to help with people finding it. And again, put it on all your social links, put it in the bio of your Spotify. That's going to drastically improve your ability to get found on Google. And it is still one of the top ways people discover things. If I'm at a show, sometimes I Spotify, but sometimes I just go straight to Google if I heard a name and I search. And if I can go to that website, I know I can get everything there if it's there versus a social platform. So next question, can DIY website builders such as Squarespace offer equal opportunity to monetize, or is WordPress or other recommended? Almost every website builder now offers ways to monetize. Squarespace, JamFeed, Webflow, etc., WordPress. The only thing I have with WordPress is it's a little outdated in many ways in terms of like building things like automations and stuff like that. So not that you can't use it. We've seen customers using WordPress, but yes, every platform offers ways of monetizing. You'll typically see a base subscription for just having a website, which is where we recommend people start. Probably around $20 a month. And then you'll kind of increase those payments to $30, $40 a month to build out an e-commerce store to where you could actually monetize. And if you think about it, you should be trying to use this to make money, right? If you're spending 30, 40 a month, but you have ways of making money there, ultimately you're hoping you can start generating at least $40, $50 a month. Now you have a free website. Everything after that is pure profit. So it's not necessarily about the provider. Most of them can provide you with a website. What we are really selling to people is we will automate it. We will build it for you. We will help you. We will do video chat, customer service, which you just won't get from a lot of the other big tech companies. And that's mostly specific because we're specifically for musicians. Our platform is geared towards artists. Next question, how can you offer downloads on your website with a one-click button and a low-cost, affordable partners to sell merch? So it's kind of two questions, but offering on your website, there's a company called Single Music that we are looking to integrate with soon. I'll just do a quick Google search so you can see these guys. They're based out of Nashville. Their only downside, in my opinion, is they're restricted to Shopify, but I would say they're kind of the more futuristic version of Bandcamp. I do think Bandcamp is great, but again, it's their platform. You can link off to it, which I still recommend if you do have merch and you sell music there. We can also build easily. If you just copy and paste your Bandcamp link into the merch section on our platform, it'll direct people over there to sell. We are looking at this company because it would be great if you could just on your website, click and purchase. This single does all of the tracking to Billboard charts, everything else on there for you. So check out Single Music. Bandcamp is a great option, but Bandcamp is not going to be on your site. It's going to be linking people to their site. And then in returns to low-cost, affordable partners to sell merch, I personally love a company in Austin called Amplifier. They do print on demand and distribution. So you can sign up for free, design a shirt, a hoodie, a coffee mug, and put it up for sale. And you don't have to buy the inventory. Someone goes online and purchases it. They print it, they ship it, they do customer service, handle any shipping issues. You sit back and you take a commission. Now, the commission might be a little smaller than if you bought 100 in bulk and sold them and shipped them yourself. But if you're early on in your career, buying 100 shirts is a little risky. What if one person buys that shirt and you're stuck with a box in your place? You've also spent the money already. I think getting started with print on demand can be a really valuable asset for you. Next question is why website and not Bandcamp where there's already a massive audience? I think this has kind of been answered, but just to reiterate, you don't own Bandcamp. That's their audience. So I highly recommend having your information on Bandcamp because there is a big audience. The same way I would recommend being on Instagram. You should be on these platforms, but they are not your platform. Those are their customers. Ideally, we are getting at least some data and email when they do purchase from those platforms. But at the end of the day, that is their platform, not your platform. Linktree is a good free solution for Instagram's link in bio. To be completely transparent, their entire business is built around Instagram's restrictive access to putting in multiple links. But I think it's great. I think it works really well for Instagram. Just make sure if you have a link tree that when they open that, my opinion, the first thing someone should be able to click on in your link tree is your website. We're actually looking at building a link tree type of deal because we're already pulling a lot of these different pieces of content together to where what my goal would be, instead of going to linktree.com/JimmyTheHuman, you would go to jimmythehuman.com/links. That all that did was flip it to where that's now his website, his customers, not link trees. But again, as a free way of having something in Instagram bio, I do think it's a good starting point. What is the NFT potential on your website? Great question. I have spent the last year really diving into NFTs. I think they're an incredible tool. Technology-wise, what they do is remove the middleman. And for too long, artists have had way too many people dipping their hands in their pockets. The labels, managers, booking agents, online companies. There's just so many different things that grab a piece of that pie. And that's your pie. That's your music. That's your intellectual property. I think NFTs are a really interesting way of moving this forward. So we're actually looking at, Single Music, that company I talked to you about is actually starting to dabble in that world as well, where they can help monetize live streams and NFTs. I do think that we're experiencing a bubble in some sense. I think the bubble is more about prices and how outrageous some of these are, around a picture of a monkey or something along those lines. But the core technology is incredible and it tracks everything and it allows you to get paid directly from your fans. If you don't know who Blau is, he spells it 3LAU, but it's pronounced Blau. He sold $11 million of NFTs right when the pandemic hit. $11 million. His biggest streaming song has like maybe 50 million streams, which generates him probably $5,000 to $10,000. And where did he do this through? His own website. So yes, we are absolutely looking at the NFT space. I think it's very interesting. And to me, I just think if you don't want to go too deep into NFTs, just think of it as another form of e-commerce, something you sell digitally on your website and allow fans to purchase directly from you. All right, next question. How do I get hundreds of people who added my song on Spotify to their playlist because my song was on Lucifer to buy your merch and music? Again, great question. If I listen to you on Spotify and I want to learn more about you, I click that bio info on your Spotify. If you're not telling me where to go to buy your merch and music, that is on you. You have got to let people know in that bio, say, thank you for listening. If you really want to support my career, please go to my website and subscribe, buy merchandise, follow, subscribe, whatever you need them to do. That is your job to direct them there. So Spotify, again, is not going to make it a real nice, easy link, but you are able to put in the domain name, www.band.com, and tell people that that's where you want them to go. Spotify is a streaming service. At the end of the day, they're not in the business of sending people to your website because that does not help their business model. But it can be a great marketing tool for you to get fans and then find ways to sell them. They do have merch integrations now. So they just announced a partnership with Shopify. I know those names could get mixed, but if you have a Shopify merch store now, You can publish that directly into Spotify. Unfortunately, that's like one of the only ways, which is one of my least favorite things about Spotify, is very restricted. They have one way of putting up shows through Songkick, and they have one way of doing merchandise. On our website platform, we'll link to any merch provider because people have different tastes and pricing points and things like that. Next question. Yes, I feel like Patreon takes too much. Also, please let us know if you find a way to build it into our website. I will promise you that we will have that. I just can't give you a timeline, but I would give you a rough estimate of 3 to 6 months, where you essentially pay for the service itself and we don't take a cut. So you would pay $10 a month to have your own subscription service built directly through your website. You pay $10 a month if you make $0, and if you make $10,000, you pay $10 a month. That to me, obviously we've got to build the technology and we have to make money off of our technology. But to me, you're paying for a service, and Patreon taking 10%. And if I'm not mistaken, I actually think they take more money as you grow, which is completely backwards. So if you started making $100,000 a year on Patreon, it's very likely that that can actually go up in percentage wise to possibly even 15%. So we are definitely looking into that. To me, that is one of the best things that we could have that should be on your website. But we are not quite there yet, but I would say that is very much still on the horizon for where we're headed. Next question. Would you have any recommendations for hosting? My website is on Bandzoogle and has been for years, but they don't offer the pop-ups for action. This is one of my biggest frustrations with Bandzoogle, is they haven't pieced together the two most important things. A website and hosting should be together. If you come to our platform, hosting is built in. Same with Squarespace, same with many of these other platforms. It is part of our monthly cost. You are not having to worry about hosting. Our database hosts everything. The only way your website would go down on our side is if AWS goes down, which is Amazon Web Services. And if that happens, it means half of the internet is down, including Netflix, Amazon, and many other services. So it's very rare that that ever happens. I think they had one outage last year for about an hour and a half. So that we've decided to use a much stronger provider and then pass along the savings to you. I think Bandzoogle tries to use third parties, but again, that's more work and an additional cost to you. You're now having to pay Bandzoogle plus a hosting company. Can you email the PDF presentation after the class? 100%. Happy to do that. I'll work with Kate. It'll either come from me or Kate. Kate, we can discuss that after. But yes, happy to share that. And I'll also throw in the independent creator study that I mentioned earlier, because I think it's well worth everybody reading. It's about 10 to 15 pages long, but I think it will help that light bulb go off on, I need to be my own business and build it myself and not be so dependent on these other platforms. Next question. We should be able to get through all of these, I think. So we've just got a couple more. This one is, so you're referring to JamFeed. So this one is direct aggregation just to the JamFeed site. Are you able to update everything from here? For example, could you update concerts like Songkick, Bands in Town, Facebook? Great question. Yeah, not yet, but this is exactly where we're headed. So it was much easier to start with aggregating in, and you're already using Instagram and Facebook and these other platforms. But my ultimate goal with this business is one-stop shop. You can run your entire business in one product. And if you can do that, your time is back, all your data is in one place. You're not having to learn 10 different tools and services. Right now, we do not push out, we only aggregate in, but we are absolutely going to look at that. To me, if I could update my bio photo and my bio text, and I could send that to Facebook, Spotify, YouTube all at once, it is definitely possible. We already are connected to a lot of these companies' APIs to pull that data in. It would just require you doing it. Right now, we just ask for a URL and we can pull that data. Then for us to go outward the other direction, you would just have to log in. So you'd actually have to go to, like, type in your username and password and give us access to basically shoot stuff to Instagram, which I'm sure you guys have done on some other platforms before. So yes, great question. We are actually getting to that point as well. Next one is, I use an EPK from Sonic Bids. Now I feel like the site is a bit outdated. What EPK do you recommend for booking festivals and shows? Yeah, Sonic Bids, same thing. I agree. I think they're just a little outdated. I believe your website can serve as an EPK if you have everything on there, if that's a basic starting point for some people. We can also link a PDF if you're doing a PDF printout. We are actually looking to build a specific EPK template due to some requests from our customers that would have certain things that aren't as common on a website, like your tech writer and stage plot for a show or photos for press. Again, if you could upload all of those into one place and click a button and it creates an EPK for you, that's something that we're looking at as well. It's not there yet, but we can link to a PDF or something like that if you had it created as a exportable file for right now. Other platforms that do it, there really are not a whole lot. Sonic Bids, just kind of like Reverb Nation, they just really kind of didn't adapt to the new world of the web. It still looks and feels very outdated. I would recommend just having your own in some form of fashion on a PDF. That way you could email it if someone asks for it. Most of the time they're looking for your links, your photos, and ways to contact you if they need you, and quotes or testimonials from fans, people that worked with you, etc., that they can utilize for press and other things. In your opinion, if you have one thing above the fold on your website, what would it be? Your music. Personally, your newest music, and a way for me to click right to it. To me, I see too many people that are trying to do too many things. Like if you put on your website and the first thing I see is subscribe, and I don't know who you are yet, and you're popping me up and you're telling me to come join, I don't know what I'm joining yet. And the reality is that your music is actually the catalyst that leads to everything else. It is what it will make someone subscribe. It will make someone watch a video. I think your music is the most important thing. I would say that in a image of yourself, a high quality image, sometimes a background video. I think all of those are common. My personal opinion is your newest song. I think that's great for driving traffic to it. And I just think if that is the first thing that people see, and it's the most likely that they're going to click on it. A lot of our most popular template is the new release template that has your newest song and all your social links right there. So people can immediately, you don't know if someone is using Twitter versus Instagram. You want to give them access to those as quickly as you can. Does anyone know how Amplifier compares to, say, Redbubble? I'm not as familiar with Redbubble. I have heard the name before. I know Printful is a common print-on-demand service that people use as well. Again, I think print on demand is print on demand. Some are going to offer more variety. Some might sell hats and some might not sell hats. I'll leave that up to you to do your due diligence on. But at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of companies that do it. As we are all sitting here with Austin Music Foundation and a local music tech company, I will always say support your local companies. I know the CEO over at Amplifier really well, and I think he's built a great business. And we're looking to build kind of a direct integration with them as well, where you could just publish directly from Amplifier straight into your JamFeed website as well. We got 3 more questions. So, Kate, I'm going to just take us a couple minutes over, if that's all right.
No problem at all, Cam.
All right.
No problem.
Do you have musicians that are multimedia artists that also sell art through your site? Great question. We do. We link off to other platforms in terms of selling their art. We are looking into just allowing a custom component to where you could add that in. I actually had an artist reach out this week and who does fitness and personal training and wanted to see if he could get that on there. The reality is that we built this specifically for musicians. Now, again, we're just early. We are a small startup as well, so we can expand. I would like to give that flexibility because there's other things people are passionate about, whether it's a charitable organization that you want to support, or you do multiple kinds of art and you want to have your digital art on there. Right now, we typically just link off to a site that's specifically for that art, which I also don't think is a bad idea, especially if you're branding it differently. If the art has its own brand, I do think its own website is valuable, and then just connect the dots on your site. But right now we don't have the ability to just to add fitness. Like I told Pat, we're getting there. It's not the focus because we're really making sure that we build this for the musician, but we are wanting to build in some flexibility to where you could have some styling on some custom components, things like that. Next question. As a podcast, can you still use JamFeed for a podcast versus EPs and musicians? I'm starting a new one supporting indie artists. I have a show for my radio show, but we'll be launching a separate new podcast. The answer is, from a technical standpoint, yes. We are right now only for musicians. We're going to officially launch at South by, but to be transparent, we have a patent around this technology that allows us to aggregate all types of content and automate it to artists and fans. So yes, if you send your podcast through a distribution platform that gets it onto Spotify, Apple Music, etc., and you put content on YouTube, absolutely in the future, we will be able to do this. I would say reach out to me, send me an email, send me your podcast. I'd like to at least kind of start that discussion with you and put it in front of my developers and see if there's anything we could do now. But more likely than not, that'll just be a little bit down the road. But absolutely, it's looking, I mean, for me, it's, we've got the technology to really support any creators, but music is really where we want to focus. We want to make sure we take care of the market that we're targeting and build it correctly for them, and then we can kind of expand from there. Last question that's on here, and then if we can open up one more time if anyone has any others. But how much do you pay per month to use JamFeed? We are currently charging $22 a month. That will likely increase, not much, but by the time we launch at South by, it will likely be between $25 and $30 a month. Anyone who's signed up before will be grandfathered in for life. So everyone, most people are local Austin musicians. We try to be competitive around everyone else, where you see Squarespace and these other DIY website builders. What I loved about those products is they made it affordable for a small musician. The problem with them is you got to learn Squarespace and you got to manually keep it updated. And we've learned, I think we've signed about 20 artists up to our platform that had bought a website domain and could not get to the point of learning Squarespace, Wix, these other platforms. So we also offer an annual plan. If you want to commit for a year and save money, it goes to $200 a year, which comes out to around $17 a month, which you can also lock in that rate as well. So we do a free trial. You're welcome to sign up for free, get in your dashboard, play around, create that site. We just charge when you actually want to connect the domain and push it live, which is pretty standard with other website builders. So we're trying to be in that low monthly affordable. We want you to not stress about a website. We want you to want to have a website, to be able to afford it. And even as we build out these marketing tools and e-commerce tools into our own platform with subscriptions, our goal is to make it affordable to where you can have all of these things in one place. You're not having to pay $80 to community just to do SMS, and then paying MailChimp for email and paying your website and having all these different subscriptions, and none of those products talk to each other. So we're trying to kind of aggregate all those services into one spot, really give you the control to go directly to your fan and keep it to where you can build your entire business for a low monthly cost and really start to scale it. So, we operate our entire overhead of our business on a few $100s a month. And that's because we've taken advantage and built aggregations and automations to where we can really pull everything in, make it affordable. A lot of times what you're really paying for is hosting on a website, and that you're just not going to get around that on any platform that you go to. You're going to have to pay someone to keep it up for you every month. And then ours is just priced that way a little bit, maybe a little bit higher than Squarespace, but we're selling you time. We want you to me, it's like, would I rather pay a couple dollars a month to not have to worry about something? Absolutely. That way I can focus on the things that can move my business forward. Looks like we had one more question come in. Do you have a longer press release or something with info like you talked about here so I can get that? Not yet. So we actually built this. We started as a consumer platform a couple years ago here in Austin that sends fans updates to their phone when they follow you for a new song, new video, new tour. That obviously technology we paralleled into these automated websites, which we built during the pandemic. So once we saw artists lose their other revenue streams, we really doubled down and tried to get this built out. We are already setting up press. We recently had a management company come and invest. We're working on some press releases with that partnership. Over the next month or two, especially as South by Southwest comes around, you will start to see a lot more. Truthfully, we've been purposely staying quiet as we work all of this out. We've been trying to get as much feedback from artists, from Austin Music Foundation, other partners locally. We're really just trying to take care of local musicians right now before we worry about press and really getting our name out there publicly. But again, I'm happy to send this deck. I'm happy to chat with you guys. You've got my email on here. For people who have used our website, you can ask them. I think one of the best things we provide is hands-on customer support and service. We really try to give this face time with our team to provide you with guidance and help. Everyone's situation is a little bit different, both with the tools you're using and the financially. So happy to try to make it work with any of you guys if you'd like to chat offline. Any other questions?
I think there's just a final couple of questions on the Zoom feed.
Yep. Okay, I see that over here. Let's see. JamFeed includes mailing emails, so we can collect the email and integrate it with Mailchimp right now. We will be building the way for you to essentially remove Mailchimp. Like my ultimate goal is you can think of dropping a song and it goes straight to your website, straight to our mobile app as a push notification, straight to your SMS group, and straight to your mailing list, all automatically, and all of that data tracked in one place, so you can actually see those analytics and you're not trying to compare the data across 4 or 5 different services. And then that is my ultimate goal, and that's, we're raising another round of funding right now to go accomplish that. So again, I would say in the next couple months, we will be able to do that. But for now, we can link people over to, a MailChimp service, which is free to get started on. But we do not do that as of now. Let's see. Venmo and Zelle integrations too. This is not far away. I would actually say by Southwest, we would like to have this to where same thing, you could put your Venmo URL, PayPal, etc. I know people are often getting tips now through there. We absolutely will be doing that. That'll be quicker than building out a email list. Again, that's just put in your URL and add it. I will mention to my team that came up as well today, because again, it's a way for you to get paid. My recommendation is have it up there, but encourage people to a subscription, because a one-time donation is a one-time donation. $5 a month for me, as most of you probably know, I'm sure we're all paying for subscriptions that we don't really utilize anymore. So there's ways to get that fan to continue paying you regardless of that level of engagement. I still pay Wikipedia $3 a month because they asked me to 4 years ago. And every time I see it, I'm like, I love Wikipedia, and I let them have it. So I think it's great to have donations, but I would recommend doing that. Local musician discount, we're giving a free month away for everybody local. You're welcome to come in, get the whole first month for free, try out the product. We'll help you connect your domain. Again, that early bird discount also is our discount. So for a lifetime discount, if you sign up now, you will get the rate that it's at now before it goes up at our official launch, and that will stay with you for perpetuity. So it will never, that website subscription will not go up for you. Yay, someone said MailChimp has been buggy during the pandemic. Yes, it has. And a big reason we're trying to build a similar product is MailChimp sold to Intuit, which is like QuickBooks and TurboTax, which to me will essentially kind of be the death of that product. It's someone who bought it specifically for revenue. A lot of the founding team cashed out and will not be there. I feel like the customer support is already lacking compared to how it used to be. And I've experienced those bugs as well. The reality is it is probably still the best option for a free tier of getting something started. Products have bugs. Our company will have some bugs sometimes. But that is a big reason why we are looking at building that channel out, is things are changing there. So I think that looks like it's it. Again, I want to say thank you to everyone who showed up. Just showing up means you're serious about learning, educating yourself. I would recommend having a continual learning mindset. This industry is changing. Years ago, I would have not told you that TikTok would be important. And now I think TikTok is incredibly important for getting noticed and getting your songs out there. So new products will come and go, new technologies will come. Just keep an open mindset, learn from people. I have learned almost all of these things from YouTube videos and other people in the industry, and just having the desire to find a better way of doing things. So, we're here to help the musician. We're building products specifically for them, but taking that first step and wanting to learn on your side is a big first step. So pat yourselves on the back a little bit there, and feel free to reach out. We're here to help, and thank you for your time today. I really appreciate everyone taking a look at this, and I hope you learned something today. Really appreciate all your time. Any referral affiliate link. You want me to put something in the chat for people, or should we send that out via email? I can put something there.
We can send it via email because
Okay.
there's a few other things that are going out to the participants. So let's do that. I did see one question just before that, which from Keith.
Can you read it?
Yeah, it says, I am blind. How accessible is everything?
Oh, gotcha. Everything is very easy, and we can actually walk you through it. You know, we'll actually copy and paste and help you do the whole thing and set up your website for you. We did it this morning. One guy said he didn't even know how to buy a domain this morning. And so I said, not a problem, share your screen and we'll walk you through it. If you're in Austin, Keith, we can meet up in person as well. We can help you there on the customer support side too. So happy to help.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Cam. This was really
Absolutely.
webinar
Absolutely.
today. I'm so happy that we partnered with you on this, and thank you everyone else for tuning in via Zoom, via Facebook. We love you guys. We love our music community, and yeah, just to please stay in contact with us on Instagram and our website, austinmusicfoundation.org, to find out the future events that will be coming up in the following months. I know Sheila had also put a donations link. If you like what you see, we always take donations as a nonprofit as well, so that we can keep providing these programs for free. And thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you again, Kate and Sheila, for helping put this together. Really appreciate y'all.
You too. Thanks, everyone.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.